All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, I've been relatively hard on Karl Anthony Towns ever since he imploded in last season's playoffs in the first round against the Houston Rockets. Why is that? Because I have very high expectations for a player of his caliber and of his talent. He's truly transcendent, and he has the potential to be the best player in the NBA, not just the best big man. But he's going to have to find himself mentally. And it seems as if, since the Jimmy Butler trade, he's on his way to starting to do that. So hopefully that will continue. Of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
23rd, okay. Karl Anthony Towns had a monster 35-point, 22-rebound effort in a win over the Bulls on Saturday. Andrew Wiggins, not so much. Scoreless on 0 for 12 shooting in that same game.
Andrew Wiggins, no disrespect to the brothers, is a very, very talented bum. That's what he is. He's a talented bum in the NBA.
Are you encouraged if you walk out of this by Cat and sort of how well he's been playing this last couple of weeks, or are you worried about Jimmy?
Andrew Wiggins reminds me of Latrell Sprewell, if Sprewell had no heart whatsoever.
Whoa, that was a slip right there. Wolves, Jimmy Butler, Karl Anthony Towns, they're just still married in my mind. Are you more worried about Andrew Wiggins?
Yes. To both.
To both, all of it, all
Yes.
three.
Let me say this. We know that LeBron James loves to play general manager. The best GM move that he ever made was having Andrew Wiggins be traded for Kevin Love.
Three of them.
The answer is yes.
I'm going to take the totally positive spin here and say great game by Karl Anthony Towns.
Yes.
And this is not a sign that Andrew Wiggins is having a terrible season. I mean, he hasn't been playing amazing lights out, but guess what? They've got the win. That's what it's about. And it's on the same night.
Yes.
Yeah, all that's cool. They got the win. But Andrew Wiggins is being paid to be a star in the NBA. We're supposed to be talking about him in the same way that we speak about Klay Thompson or the young cat down there in Phoenix, Devin Booker. That's how we're supposed to be talking about Andrew Wiggins. Because now he does not have the excuse that Jimmy Butler is there taking up his shots and taking up his space on the perimeter. So why is he still struggling?
The Houston Rockets lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and guess what? Chris Paul wasn't playing.
Right.
And guess what Andrew Wiggins was doing that night? He was playing. And you go out there, you compete, and you get the win, you move on. Guess what? Malik Andrews reported via ESPN that they were laughing about it in the locker room afterwards and just saying, like, well, you're not going to do that again. We'll get that one out of your system. And Robert Covington went 1 for 18 that game as well. Let's mention that.
Well, I like the note at the bottom.
That means that Robert Covington is taking too many shots. Why the hell is Robert Covington taking 18 shots?
Note at the bottom saying that the Timberwolves have been 5-2 since the trade, like the Sixers. Sometimes everybody can get better from.
I agree with that. Sometimes both teams can win the trade. And there's such a thing as addition by subtraction. I know that for a fact. A lot of times you have to subtract people from your life in order for your life to get better. Whether they be whoever, colleagues or so-called friends or associates or significant others or what have you. You have to know when to move onward and upward. Fortunately for the Timberwolves, depending on how well they play in the aftermath of the Butler trade, that might assist Mr. Tom Thibodeau in keeping his job.
From that magical elixir of change of scenery.
The problem is the amount of money they've committed to Wiggins, right? And it's going to, and this could seem to potentially be paying the tax if it tries to add more talent. You know, they picked up a couple guys. I mean, you know, Sarge is a guy. They might want to pay that guy at some point. They're in trouble. I mean, I have this weird prediction, which is I think the teams that strike out in free agency this summer will be sitting with a lot of room, and I think Andrew Wiggins could very well have a new home into one of those teams traded into room. This is just a personal, unfounded theory. I just think at some point the Wolves are going to have to move off that money. It's not even we're giving up on Wiggins. It's we can't get value.
The optics of a max player going scoreless are terrible. I'm not going to, dismiss that. But they got the win.
Right.
That's what you're on the court.
Right. I mean, look, this goes back to the question I've been watching all season. If you are paying Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns that much, and they are as talented as we know that they are, shouldn't they be making the playoffs even once you make this trade away from Butler? So it's where the expectations are, too.
I agree with you, Rachel Nichols. I do agree with you that even in the aftermath of the Jimmy Butler trade, they should expect to have an opportunity to make the playoffs when you have a Karl Anthony Towns and the level of talent that they have, as well as Coach Tom Thibodeau. As a matter of fact, I believe that they're going to have to make the playoffs in order for Tom Thibodeau to keep his job, because I think that Glenn Taylor is still so upset by how that whole Jimmy Butler thing went down. But we'll find out. Once again, congratulations to Karl Anthony Towns. He finally has his team back. Hopefully he'll be able to prove that he's worth all of the hullabaloo. So peace.